Picture this. It's 9 p.m. You're in a taxi, and suddenly it just stops. Dead in the middle of the road. No engine problem. No flat tire. And here's the thing. There's no driver to explain anything. You look out the window and realize every taxi around you is also stopped. All at once. This actually happened on March 31st, 2026 in Wuhan, China. And it changed how we talk about AI. Hey, quick question before we dive in. Would you get out of a driverless car stopped on a highway? Think about that. Let's go back. March 31st, 2026. Wuhan, China. 8:57 p.m. The 122 emergency line starts ringing. One call, then another, then dozens. All saying the same thing. Apollo Go Robotaxis have stopped. Not one car, not two. At least 100 vehicles across Wuhan, frozen in traffic lanes simultaneously. A screen inside each car lit up. Driving system malfunction. Staff expected in 5 minutes. 5 minutes passed, no one came. 10 minutes, still nothing. Some passengers were completely alone inside. One passenger pressed the SOS button. The voice on the other end said, "Staff are on their way." But the car doors could open. So some passengers stepped out and immediately faced a different problem. They were stranded not on side streets, but on elevated ring roads and fast-moving main lanes. Wuhan police confirmed. Preliminary investigation pointed to a system failure. Investigation ongoing. Baidu, the parent company, issued no immediate statement. Officially, system failure, no injuries. Okay, so far it sounds like a bad night. A software glitch, some inconvenienced passengers, right? But wait, let me ask you something. When a human taxi breaks down, what happens? One car stops. The driver calls for help. Traffic adjusts. Problem contained to that single vehicle? But Robotaxis share the same platform. The same software, the same cloud system, the same update. That means when something goes wrong at the platform level, it doesn't affect one car. It affects all of them. Think about it this way. Your home Wi-Fi goes down. Every device in the house loses connection. Simultaneously. Now imagine that Wi-Fi router is also controlling 100 cars on the roads of a major city. At night, this is what engineers call a fleet-level failure. Individual breakdowns are expected. Mass failure is different. We can't confirm the exact technical cause. Cloud outage, software bug, network issue? Still under investigation. But the shape of the failure, 100 vehicles, same moment, same problem. That shape tells its own story. Does this concern you? Because it honestly should. Drop a comment. I want to know what you think. Now here's where the story gets even bigger. Why Wuhan? This city isn't random. Wuhan has been one of Baidu's main robotaxi cities for years. A showcase for China's autonomous future. Apollo Go, Baidu's robotaxi service, operates one of its largest fleets right here. Hundreds of vehicles. In Q4 2025 alone, Apollo Go completed 3.4 million fully driverless rides, peaking at 300,000 per week. By February 2026, cumulative rides across all cities exceeded 20 million. This was not a small experiment. Baidu was telling the world, we've moved beyond testing. This is commercial. This is real. And Goldman Sachs had projected China's robotaxi market to hit $12 billion by 2030. China was winning. So when 100 cars froze in Wuhan, it wasn't just a bad Tuesday. It was a crack in the success narrative. Before this night, Baidu was expanding to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, London, Switzerland, even South Korea. This incident didn't kill that expansion, but it forced a question the industry had been quietly avoiding. Let's zoom in on what the passengers actually experienced, because this is where it gets very human. One person wrote online, "Haven't ridden a robotaxi in 2 years. Tonight I got stuck on the ring road." Another, "6 robotaxis broke down on the 3rd ring road. Almost cost me my life." Terrifying. Think about that phrase, "almost cost me my life." Not from a crash, from being trapped in traffic. The fear wasn't the car hit something. The fear was, I'm alone in traffic and no one is coming. Some passengers were too afraid to open the door. Cars were flying past them in adjacent lanes. Others called police directly. In at least some cases, officers physically escorted passengers to safety. When a human driver breaks down, you at least have someone to negotiate with, someone to call. With a robotaxi, you have a screen, an SOS button, and a recorded voice saying, "Help is on the way." This raises a design question nobody had fully answered. What happens when the system fails completely? Remote safety operators exist, but the US Senate found that AV companies won't disclose how often they intervene. So in a mass shutdown like Wuhan, are there enough remote operators for 100 cars at once? Good question. Now, some people's first reaction was, well, that's China. They rush things. This wouldn't happen elsewhere. But hold on. Remember San Francisco, December 2024? A power outage took down a Waymo fleet. Multiple Waymo Robotaxis stalled simultaneously. They blocked intersections and caused traffic gridlock. Different cause, different city, different company. Same pattern. Fleet-wide failure, same moment. In late 2025, Zoox recalled its entire autonomous fleet after 62 cases of unnecessary lane crossings. A Senate investigation found Waymo uses overseas remote operators, one in the Philippines, with higher latency. And an NTSB investigation found a Waymo car past a school bus stop sign after incorrect operator guidance. The point isn't that China is worse. The point is, this is an industry-wide challenge. Everywhere. By 2035, analysts expect Robotaxis in 40 to 80 cities worldwide. The Wuhan problem scales with the fleet. So let me zoom out and ask the bigger question. What does this incident actually tell us about AI? We've been afraid of AI making wrong decisions, running red lights, misreading pedestrians, crashing. But Wuhan reveals a different fear. Not wrong decisions, no decisions. A complete system-level freeze. A human driver makes one mistake at a time. A connected AI system can make the same mistake at scale. And it's not just transportation. Think about hospitals on AI. Power grids, financial systems, emergency services. We are building cities on top of AI infrastructure. What happens when that infrastructure freezes at 9 p.m.? The World Economic Forum calls this one of the unresolved challenges of large-scale autonomous deployment. Who is responsible when 100 robotaxis stop? Baidu? The software vendor? The cloud provider? The city? Current laws don't fully answer this. China has started defining liability, but it's still a patchwork globally. Here's what I keep thinking about. Robotaxis don't get drunk. They don't fall asleep. They don't rage, but they can share a single point of failure. And when that point fails, everything stops. Together, that's fundamentally different from human error. Human failure is local. System failure is network-wide. So here's where I want to land. The Wuhan shutdown didn't kill Robotaxis. The industry is still growing. Baidu expanded to Abu Dhabi days after this. London partnerships continued. The machines kept moving. But what the Wuhan night did was shift the conversation. From, is this car safe? To something bigger. The new question is, what happens to a city when the AI running its transportation breaks down? That question doesn't have a clean answer yet. And we're building the future before we've answered it? Autonomous vehicles don't get drunk. They don't text and drive. They don't have road rage. That's real. But humans make mistakes one at a time. Systems can make the same mistake across an entire city. So maybe the question we should be asking isn't, is AI smarter than humans? It's a different one. Should we build cities where a single software failure can freeze 100 taxis all at once? The real danger of AI might not be the moment it's too dumb. It might be the moment it's too connected. Now I'll ask you the question I asked at the very beginning. Would you get out of that stopped car? And after everything you just heard, has your answer changed? Let me know in the comments. That's a wrap for today. The night 100 AI taxis froze, and what it tells us about the world we're building